In this video, we are going to talk about the Python, its origin, as well as why we should use the Python, why we should learn Python, and how is Python different from the other programming languages. First, let us talk about the origin. Python was actually built by Guido van Rossum in 1991. Most of us actually think that Python is completely new languages to us because mostly programmers used to do in C++, Java, etc. But Python actually grabbed the attention only last few years ago, and that is why most of us actually think that Python is actually comparatively newer language, newer programming language, but it is actually not true. It is even older than the other languages like Java. You know that? But at that time, Python was actually not much popular. That is why most of the programmers mainly coded in Java and the other programming languages, and it actually got neglected for quite a lot of time. It was built as a general purpose scripting language. As you know that there is always a purpose behind making a new programming language. For example, the JavaScript was built as a programming language for the browser to interact with the backend and for the other purposes, and mainly for the browser it was actually made. But the Python was actually built for the general purpose scripting language, and it has actually evolved over time, and now we can see its usage as a backend programming language, as in the field of machine learning, in the general purpose scripting also we actually use the Python, and it actually is quite interesting to learn it because it is quite popular. Next, why we should actually learn Python, okay, in 2023. Initial days, as I mentioned, that it was not much famous, but now it is actually grabbing more and more attention. I actually have attached one stat where the popularity of the different programming languages are shown, and here you can see that Python is the most popular language, and the second one is JavaScript, then Java. It is basically 2019 stat, but if you observe for 22, 23, etc., you will definitely see that Python is on the top. Its popularity would even be higher now, okay, because it is grabbing too much attention nowadays because it is so much easy to use, it is slow, so much flexible. I will just talk about this later on also. Today it is the most popular programming language, and because you know that it is quite flexible and you can do a lot of tasks out of this Python, and it is quite easy to use. Next, I would be talking about how the Python is actually different from the other programming languages which we know. First, it is easy to use syntax and more readable by the users. Whenever you can actually see that most of the programmers usually start their career, or you just they learned how to code using this Python language only. Why? This is because the syntax of Python is too much easy. It is too much readable by the users, and the syntax is too much easy to learn that it is considered too much basic for the programmers. But believe me that you can do most of the advanced stuff using Python. This is the most important reason why actually developers love using Python. Next one is the dynamic typing. Python actually is too much flexible. Even if you are just coming from the C++ or the Java background, you have just known that we need to declare the uh, data type of the variable explicitly. For example, if you are declaring the name, then you have to say that it is the string data type, or any number you have to say it is long integers, or simply integers, or even you can say that it is a vectors or list. Anything you have to just explicitly mention. But in Python you just do not need to explicitly mention anything. And obviously, suppose if you have declared a string and you have named it as name, in the next line only you can just say no, it is not an string data type, it is now a integer data type, and you can say name equals to 22. So this much flexibility is offered by Python. Next is that large and active community. Honestly speaking, the Python's community is too large, and for example, if you go to the Stack Overflow or the GitHub, you will be getting a lot of users and developers interacting with each other. They are solving each other's doubt. So whenever you are stuck at any point, you can just see that there is a huge community who is going to help you out in that. and because it has too much tremendous usage, you will always see that its community is quite big. you know it is actually open source programming language, obviously. Next one is that interpreted in nature. It is actually different from most other popular language because it is based on interpretation and not based on compilations. What is the difference between compilers and interpreter? Compiler basically compiles the entire code and then executes it in one go, whereas in the interpreter languages like Python, what they do is that they actually executes line by line. C++, Java, etc., based on compiler. Okay, and uh, because Python is a interpreted language, so it has pros as well as cons. What is the con? Con is that it is quite slow. For example, Python is 5 to 100 times slower as compared to the C++, but it actually gives a quite lot of flexibility to Python, and that is why it is a pro also. um, so that is all for the theory. Now let's write a simple code, simple hello world code, because all we know that whatever programming language we first learn, we should know how to write the hello world programming language. So first take out your VS Code, open any folder, and then you can just create any folder. Okay, I just using the Linux system, so just you can name this anything. Okay, I have just named it as the index dot. Sorry, excuse me. You can just either use the command line, or you can also use it from here also, like index2.py. Anything will be okay. Okay, just I'm just writing the code in index.py file to write the hello world programming language. Honestly speaking, it is the simplest in Python because only you need to give a print statement, and then you need to write the hello world, and that's it, complete. If you just want run the code, and you will observe that you got the hello world as the output. So that's all for today. And obviously you do not just see here, you actually do not need to give this semicolon. Okay, it is up to you. Mostly in the Python we do not use the semicolon. Okay, so and this was all for today. In the next videos we will be having more advanced stuff related to Python. First we will be going through the basic stuffs, and then we will be going to the advanced stuffs one by one. Thank you, and have a nice day.